everyone, I'm High Priestess or Phoenix. We are just coming off from a few weeks ago, the presidential election, and I said from the very beginning that Hecate told not just myself, but witches who had an ear to hear and actually listen to the Queen of Witches, that Joe Biden was going to win the election. He was going to win the election by a lot, which he did. Hecate speaks the truth, only the truth, unsugarcoated, and never lies, never leads you on. Whenever Hecate speaks to witches, it happens. Because when you are a witch, you are much more intuitive than the rest of the world, because witches rely on their intuition when doing witchcraft. When you rely on your intuition and you have an ear to hear, you can never be wrong. You can never be wrong. Your intuition is also your inner compass. Now, for some of you who don't know or who are new to following me, I personally am a Democrat. I vote blue. I voted for Joe Biden. I donated money towards his campaign. I voted blue all down my ballot. But why did he win when so many Christians, prophets, preachers, pastors swore up and down that Trump was going to get 4 more years? Especially the prophets of God and Jesus Christ were saying, oh, he's going to win, and then it does not happen. What do you call a prophet who says something is going to happen and it does not happen? You call that so-called prophet a liar. I said this before. Witches are watching and witches vote. I'm a witch. I voted blue. It came to fruition as Hecate dictated that it was for those witches who had an ear to hear. But why did Joe Biden win this election? Why did Joe Biden win this election? Let's see. It was still Scorpio season. Every time Scorpio season comes around, things change. Things that were once in the dark come to the light. Mercury has just gone direct. When Mercury is in retrograde, communication issues are abound. When Mercury is in retrograde, things are out of whack. When Mercury is retrograde, things are not what they should be. But when Mercury goes direct, which it did on October 31st, things sped up quickly. I know some witches talk about a shadow period of when Mercury starts to go back to normal. There is no shadow period. Mercury is either direct or it's not direct. There is no shadow period, all right? Let's cut that shit out. Mercury was direct. Also, because I wrote it down, people that were born in 2003 are now 18 years old. It was always the young people and witches that were going to turn this election on its head. It was always the young people and the witches who were going to turn this election on its head. I mentioned witches because for the entire 4 years, Trump was always talking about a witch hunt, basically comparing himself to witches. And I guess he thought that real witches like myself and other witches were not listening and did not take offense to that and was not going to act on that to stop him from talking shit about witches, therefore going up against Hecate. Who would want to go up against Hecate? Who? That's foolhardy. That's stupid in my New York City accent. It's fucking stupid to try to go up against a queen like Hecate. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. What else do I have here? Joe Biden is a Scorpio. Kamala Harris is a Libra. Scorpios and Libras are very, very intelligent. They work very well together when they listen to each other and not talk over each other and do not become argumentative and become defensive towards one another. They work pretty well with each other. These two signs, Libra and Scorpio, is a formidable match together. If you really, really, really do study astrology, I'm not just talking about reading your horoscope from the Daily News or the New York Post. No, I'm talking about actually studying astrology, spending time, actually understanding what the zodiac signs are, you would know that Libra and Scorpio work very well together when they listen to each other and not talk over each other and not become defensive and sometimes even physically violent towards one another. I'm speaking from personal experience, and I'm speaking on the truth about Libra and Scorpio. Witches were always going to combat Trump. Always. I'm sure he had witches of his own, because I can't just say in good conscience it was just witches against Trump. No, I'm pretty sure he had witches working on his side too. But light always triumphs over darkness, right? Right, of course I'm right. So what did he actually expect? Did he really think that Hecate was going to let this bullshit of his go on for an additional 4 years? And the prophets, the female prophetess, the pastors, the preachers who swore up and down that he was going to get 4 more years, they have more than just egg on their face. They have shit on their face. It's worse to have shit on your face because you actually stink. Okay? So all these prophets now are trying to say, oh, he can turn the election around, which he can't. They're saying now, oh, let's jump back onto this train of the pandemic. Some prophets call it the pandemic, like the pandemic, coronavirus pandemic was planned, which it was not. Coronavirus did not come from a laboratory. It's not a biological weapon. It's just something that is. Okay? That's the truth about that. And then you have these prophets who were saying, oh, look out for China throughout this new presidential administration coming in. Look, leave those Chinese people alone. Leave those Chinese people alone and stop being simple. Leave them alone. No, seriously, leave them alone. These are all just conspiracy theorists, prophets, female prophetess. They feed, and pastors and preachers too. They feed off of conspiracy theories. The problem with conspiracy theories is they keep you away from the truth. They keep you living in a fantasy land, stupid land, stuck on stupid, having, procreating stupid kids. All right? It's not real. It's not real. They swore up and down. Now these prophets and prophetess and pastors and preachers are now trying to scramble up an excuse as to why he did not win the election. They throwing everything out there from, oh, the Democrats like myself cheated, that they had witches like myself working with the Democrats. I have never been approached by anybody from the government to help win this election. I simply voted. I simply told you all, which is the truth, what Hecate said to witches who had an ear to listen, that Joe Biden was going to be the next president, and he will be the next president on January 20th. It's a fact. The election is over. There is no more fight to wage against. There is no more ammunition. Go ahead. Try to take it to the Supreme Court. It's not going to work. Joe Biden won the popular vote. He got the most votes in general. It's over. It's over. So now these prophets are now away from the election, and now they're going back to the pandemic. Oh, it's a pandemic. It was planned. The vaccine that's about to come out is really just a microchip to track you. Nobody gives a shit where you go. I don't give a damn where you go. Why would you be so concerned? Why would the government be so concerned about where somebody goes? Who gives a damn? Just go. Or that the vaccine is the mark of the beast, the mark of the devil, I suppose. Sits. And that the government, especially the Democrats, are issuing in this new world order, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, all things that do not exist. There is no Illuminati. There are no Freemasons. There is no new world order. These are all conspiracy theories that have no basis in truth. None. I told you it wasn't just me, because I don't want to put myself as the center of, look, I told you so. I was right. No, Hecate was right. She spoke to witches about this election, to witches who had an ear to listen. And like I mentioned before also, because this is very important, I'm quite certain, 100% certain that Trump also had witches working on his side to win this election. But light always triumphs over darkness. Always. Always. So this is the truth about why Joe Biden won the election, because witches were watching and witches voted. And also he kept on talking shit about witches for the past 4 years, talking about, oh, I'm the victim of a witch hunt, and these prophets and Christians and pastors and preachers were egging him on and saying, yeah, it's witches, it's Democrats, it's the liberals, it's the progressives, it's these democratic states that's doing these things to hurt you, to make you lose the election. No, he lost the election all by himself. Hecate didn't take that victory from him. He did it to himself. You know, when you find yourself in a hole, you might want to stop digging and start climbing, clawing your way out. All right? A piece of advice before you start blaming people for shit you put yourself in. All right? So this is the truth. This truth wasn't for the faint-hearted. At the beginning of this broadcast, I told you all I'm a Democrat. I'm proud to be a Democrat. I voted Democrat. I voted Democrat all down the ballot. I donated money to Joe Biden's campaign because I knew he was going to win. And you do, it's true what they said. You put your money where your mouth is. That's true. It's actually true. So, you know, I'm happy with how things turned out. You know, I just knew it. It was just that the few days, I told you all also that we would not know on election night who won the election, even though it was clear who was going to win the election for those witches who had an ear to hear of Hecate. Those 2 days, I was not really eating. I was not really sleeping because I wanted to know. The anticipation was killing me. And when we found out, I believe on the 7th, on November 7th, who won the election, I was like, finally, you know, I can rest easy now. I never really doubted it because I was looking at the numbers, and Trump was still at 213, and I believe Biden was at 264. He can't catch up, you know, it's too late. And I knew that, I mean, I had no doubt that New York was going to stay blue. But it was just the anticipation. I want to know. And then, yay! President-elect Joe Biden will be taking office on January 20th. And he will. Those lawsuits that Trump have are futile. They're stupid. It just shows a desperate man who's going down in flames.